Gunnar, thank you very much for joining us on the i2i podcast today. It's been a while for us. How have you been?
Yeah, pretty good. I think it's been like 2 years since last time I was in contact with you guys. So it's been a minute. So yeah, it's finally good to catch up here. I've been doing good currently in Charlotte, North Carolina, just living and working currently. So things are good.
Yeah, we'll get onto your occupation a bit later on in the show today. I want to start off by going all the way back to the beginning of your journey with us at the i2i Soccer Academy. I guess my first question is, how did you first find out about us?
So I was playing Division II soccer at a school called Erskine College in South Carolina. Was there for my freshman year, played the full year. And I don't know, I was just kind of ready for like a new challenge, and one of my dad's best friend, Danny Cox, is actually close friends with Kent. And so we kind of made the connection there and came out for a taster trip, loved it, and the rest was history.
The rest, as they say.
Yeah.
What were your first thoughts at this point? Because all of the student athletes that join now, they see the
Hmm.
program firsthand through our social media platforms. So with you being the very first cohort and
Hmm.
having nothing to go off, was that somewhat difficult for you?
Yeah, I mean, I know i2i was like first getting started, especially on the international side of things. So um yeah, I was just more curious to see what it was like over there. Of course, I saw you guys on social media, and um facilities look great online, but that's why I went on the taster trip before I fully committed to it, because of course I could have just kept playing at that Division II school in South Carolina. So that's why I came out for a taster trip for about 10 days. um and that's honestly what like finalized my decision to come out. And then of course just getting to meet the coaches, meeting the staff, and everybody was kind of a no-brainer at that point.
Following on from that point, then, how lucky are the athletes now to have that content and legitimacy, I guess, of the program when being recruited? They can see it all, what's going on.
Yeah, I know. I saw you guys have a TikTok now. I
We
mean,
do.
Instagram's full running over like what 10,000 followers, so that's
Yes,
doing
sir.
great. Of course you got the podcast going. Of course I'm like more on LinkedIn than anything these days, so you guys are on there as well. So yeah, I mean, and then of course the facilities have just blossomed at Haxby Road, and of course now you guys are up in Northumbria now. So it's just awesome to see how big i2i has become, and it's still growing, it looks like. So yeah, I think the players are very fortunate nowadays, so they can just hop on the social media, see the training sessions, see what the games are like, and kind of get a better feel of what the full experience is like before they come out.
So when making these big decisions on where you're going to commit to, because it's obviously a massive deal for yourself
Hmm.
and your family.
Hmm.
What was your parents' view on you going to England to continue your education and play football?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a big leap to take, I guess you could say. Studying abroad in a different country for a full 3 years is a pretty big commitment. So I think it was a great opportunity, and I think that's the way like my parents looked at it. So I think they were more than encouraging for me to go out, if of course if this was something that I wanted to do. And like I said, after I went to the taster trip, I was and met some of my potential future teammates, Jonah and Ade. We're both on that taster trip as well. So yeah, I think just a big leap to take, but I think just with anything in life, if it's something that you want to do, I think you should just take it.
And how supportive were your parents in that process then?
I think they were all for it. Like I was already going to school in South Carolina, which was kind of further away from home, so they were like, what's a couple more hours on a plane ride? Of course they never got to come out and visit, but they were tuning in on the like YouTube live streams for the games and whatnot. And we kept in contact every day, so they were still somewhat in close contact with me, just didn't get to see them until Christmas and summer breaks.
Fast forwarding somewhat then, how much did you enjoy the program itself?
Man, it was a unreal experience. Like looking back, I'm really glad I came out, just the friendships, like still in contact with all the teammates today. I think I've hung out with Spencer, JT, got to see Marcos, Daniel, and a couple other guys, so
The OG gang.
that's right, the original gangsters. So it was good to, catch up with everybody. And I think, yeah, to this day, we're all in pretty close contact. So really happy I ended up coming out. Great experience. Being able to see the game in a different part of the world was a great like learning curve and increase my knowledge. Of course, I don't play. I mean, I still play pickup here and there these days, but overall, like if I wanted to go into like a more coaching role, as far as soccer is concerned, I think I have the experience and knowledge to, uh, help a team win. So yeah, overall, great experience. I think that was probably the fittest I've ever been in my life. So that was pretty cool. So that's kind of set the standard for me and the rest of my life. So I'm always like striving to be at that fitness level. And then of course, like just playing at a competitive level in England, I think it kind of sets the tone for the rest of your life, regardless of, if it's with soccer or your professional job. I think things like carry over into those aspects as well.
Yeah, you mentioned those the friendships you make. Those kind of relationships that you build must make the whole experience so much more enjoyable too.
Oh yeah. I mean, training together, going to class together, you spend a lot of time with your teammates. So I think, you know, you just that's just how friendships last, is the more time you spend together. And then of course all the experiences that we had together, like losing and winning and friend teammates getting injured and trying to like help them, overcome that injury. Like there's just so many different aspects of that. It was really cool.
Are there any moments from your 3 years that really stick out to you that you'll never forget?
It's hard to name just one, but I'd say probably just having the experience of playing at Ellen Road at the end of my first year. I think that was probably one of the coolest experiences. Of course, now I click on the TV and I'm watching Leeds United play in the Premier League, and it's at Ellen Road, and I'm just like sitting here talking to my friends, like, "Hey, I played on that field." It's pretty crazy, surreal experience. And of course, Ellen Road's a stadium with a lot of history, so to be able just to have that experience alone was unreal. Then, of course, just being coached by Jono and Brian Hughes, I think that speaks volumes about the program as well. Just being able to be coached by such high caliber players and now coaches. I think those are probably the top two, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I just want to point out that you actually changed your Zoom desktop background before we started recording to Ellen
Yeah,
Road. So
yeah.
for anyone that's interested, it went down well with me anyway.
There you go.
How did you find living in York, Gunnar?
Yeah, I mean, York's, I'd say, population's around like 200,000. Most people that visit England usually just go to London and call it good. But I always tell people, like, if you really want like an authentic English experience, definitely got to visit the more smaller cities outside of London, just like York. So I think living in York it was awesome. The castle walls, the cathedral, the university with itself, just with a lot of history. So I think just seeing all that history and the old architecture, it kind of just opens your eyes like, wow, this is so cool that I could get to call this home for 3 years. So yeah, absolutely love York. People are, really nice and really welcoming. It's a more friendlier city, I know, within England. So yeah, I still call it's like my home away from home now. So I gotta, hopefully when this pandemic ends, I'll be able to come back out and visit you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a question that we always ask our alumni, and I'm sure you've been asked this on record before. But what would you say to anyone that's thinking about joining us here at the i2i Soccer Academy in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a big commitment, but I think it's important to just evaluate your decision. got to weigh out the pros and cons of, you know, coming out versus not coming out. But overall, I think it's one in a lifetime experience. You know, it's kind of set the course for the rest of my life, and being able to just like look back on all the cool experiences that I had, and it's kind of, you know, made me the person that I am today. So it's a great experience. That's what I'd say. If somebody's like on the fence about coming out, I just say, you know, great experience, great exposure to the game in a different part of the world, especially England being, you know, probably one of the best places to go and play footy. So I think, you know, definitely take it, but got to evaluate the pros, cons, talk it over with the parents. Financially, is this a smart decision? And if everything weighs out positively, yeah, pull the trigger.
Love it. Do you miss training every day with us? Because obviously a lot of the guys that do go on to graduate, they find that they get into this routine of training every day, and once they stop doing it, they kind of miss it quite a lot. Is that the same with you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that, because, of course, you know, coming back to America, like full 3 years is over. You're not training 3 hours every day like we typically would, and you're not playing at like that competitive level. You kind of let yourself go, and so I was like, dang. Started packing on a few pounds, and I was like, all right, I can't.
You're still in good shape, Gunner. You're still in good shape. Don't worry about that.
Can't be doing that. So yeah, I mean, that was like, of course, the first like 3-4 months, and I was like, all right, I can't be doing that. So yeah, I definitely miss, you know, training every day at that like high of a level. You know, your fitness levels are just out of the world when I was out there. So like I said, it kind of like sets that standard, that tone, to strive for like nowadays, because I'm always striving to be back at like full fitness, because of course it's always good to be healthy and running around, and that's what keeps you young. So I'd say I miss fun Fridays, not run Fridays, but fun Fridays were probably
the big difference in that.
Yeah, there's a big difference. You know, run Fridays is when you're like throwing up probably at the end of the training session, but you know, it's good for you before you head into the weekend. But fun Fridays were always good, because you just, you know, play a bunch of games and then call it a day to finish off the week. So definitely, you know, miss training with Yaz and Jono. Those were good times.
So I wanted to ask you about Landlock now, a company that obviously we're very close to, and a company that you worked for a few years. We have several athletes that have worked or are still working there currently. I guess just can you explain who Landlock are and what they do?
Yeah. So I worked for Landlock for 4 summers in between college, and so Landlock's just a pest control termite company based out of Williamsburg, Virginia. They basically have service contracts with households that basically protect their homes from pests, and so yeah, that's what Landlock is.
So I guess my next question is, some of our student athletes, again, you may have done this also, but work for Landlock to help fund their tuition of our program. Was that what you did? And if so, how beneficial was that to you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if I didn't work for Landlock, I don't think I could have kept coming back year after year. So, you know, I think without Landlock, I wouldn't be able to say I'm an i2i graduate. So really, really thankful for, you know, the program and partnership that i2i and Landlock has made, because I think it's very valuable if there's, you know, financial issues of coming out and playing over there. So, you know, if anybody's considering the more financial side of things, definitely consider Landlock as like a potential opportunity to do in the summers while you're away from England.
Now, I don't want to get into your full details of your finances, but can you give us somewhat of an idea of how much you were making at a time, or how much could be made if you work at Landlock?
Yeah, I mean, I think the more and more, if you keep coming back, of course, the more money you'll make, and that's with any job, you know.
I've heard you're quite successful out there.
Yeah. So like my first summer, you know, ballpark $8,000 to $12,000, and then the second summer more of 15 to 18, and then following that, that was my biggest summer was my third year. So I got nearly up to almost 35 grand, which is a lot. And then my fourth year wasn't as good, but still made, you know, 20 to 25,000. So
It's not
good
bad.
chunk good chunk of change that you can make, you know, in 3 to 4 months if you, you know, just buy into like their program. Of course, they'll set you up for success. They give you, you know, the pitch, help you handle objections, all that. So they definitely set you up for success and put you in good areas where you'll be able to thrive. So
And can you talk about some of the like bonuses structure that's in place there? I mean, some of the things that I've seen that they do for the guys over there, just incredible. Is it
yeah,
cruises and stuff and
yeah.
trainers, all kinds of cool things?
Yes, I mean, so that's the thing. Like, it's a door to door. You're doing door to door sales. At the end of the day, so it's not the most beautiful job, but it, you know, it pays off if you're really good at it. And so, of course, throughout the summers, they throw in different promotions and stuff like that to keep things interesting. They, you know, put you on a different team, and whoever gets the most sales, you know, sometimes you can expense like up to $250 pair of cleats. And then, of course, if you hit a certain number, you can live rent free for the whole summer, where they usually put you up in housing. And then, of course, if you get like over a certain amount of sales, they'll take you on a cruise. I know the guys this past summer went all the way out to Hawaii and spent, I think, a week out there. So yeah, I think, you know, they make it fun, to say the least.
So with all that being said, then I'm pretty sure you'd recommend other athletes to follow suit then and give it a try.
Oh, 100%. And of course, like the skills that you learn, you know, with Landlock as well, kind of similar to i2i, you know, I think it sets you up for success further on in your life. You know, a lot of kids go home and just play all summer, you know, and don't make too much money. They might just go be like a grocery bagger, you know, at a grocery store or whatever they do. Work for a lawn care company, and you know, you make maybe $1,000, $2,000 for the summer, and then you go straight back to England. But you know, for the kids that come out to Landlock, grind all summer, you know, they can hold their head high because they, you know, weren't playing all summer. They were actually working hard, working on themselves.
Moving on to your current career and occupation, then, can you just give us a little overview of what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I work for a computer software company now called Okta. OKTA is how you spell it. And like the specific industry or space, I guess you could say, that we play in is identity and access management. So we help organizations like determine like who the person is and the access that they have to the applications that they need to complete their job. So don't want to get like too deep into the weeds because it's, you know, a pretty broad platform. But right now, like my current position is team lead over the sales development side of Canada region, actually. So
Oh,
all
wow.
of Canada is kind of mapped to me right now. So it's been pretty fun.
So how did that come about then? Were you headhunted?
No, so it's kind of funny. I actually made a connection while I was working for Landlock. Um, Ran into a guy, and he was telling me a little bit about his occupation, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're trying to do pest control forever, but I know we're always hiring, and there's like a really good career path in it. So we're always looking for people that are successful in sales and, you know, are go-getter kind of guys. So I think my resume, just given playing college soccer in England and having 4 years of door-to-door sales experience, I think the fit was perfect.
I suppose this proves the worth of the education side of our program then, because it's not all about football, obviously.
Yeah,
And you've shown though that going on to a fantastic start to your career in the business world.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I majored in international business management, and I think currently I'm managing about 4 or 5 sales development reps right now, and then of course I do my own outbounding for a territory. So as far as the management side of things, I think that's where my career is headed right now. So hopefully I can step into a more management role here within like 6 months. So I think, you know, the things that I learned at York St. John University have definitely carried over into to my role today.
What about future aspirations then, Gunnar? Are you looking to progress up the ladder further at Okta?
Yeah, I think, you know, really happy where I'm at. I have nothing bad to say about the company. of course, right now we're 100% remote. So I've been just hopping around from Airbnb to Airbnb. So the flexibility that the company gives me is awesome. And then of course we have great leaders at the organization, and I think overall the company's headed in a really good direction. So I don't think I'm gonna be leaving anytime soon. So yeah, there's a career path in it. So I think I'm gonna stick with it for now.
Sounds good. And just finally, we've got some questions for you submitted from Instagram.
Oh, nice.
The first one is, which coach has the best banter?
Definitely Yaz. Sorry, Jono, and
Jono won't be happy with that.
the rest of the guys, but yeah, Yaz is probably the best. Don't go fishing. That's what he always says.
I bet you're sick of hearing that.
I say it all the way up until today. I still say it.
Which is the best goal you've scored for i2i?
I'd say I mean, I can't remember the team that we were playing against, and I think it was featured on maybe one of your like Christmas calendar
Nice.
days. Yeah, I think it was when Max played me a nice ball. I was on the right side of the field, on like the right side of the 6. So it was a pretty tough angle.
Yeah.
And it was from a throw-in, threw it into Marcos. Marcos slayed it off to Max. I was kind of drifting out wide, playing out on the wing as usual. And he kind of just laid a really nice path, ball into, a really good area. And can't remember if it was a 1-touch or I kind of set myself, or it was like a 2-touch finish, but just absolute screamer, opposite top bin. So it felt good as soon as it came off the foot. The keeper didn't even move. It was a ripper.
Remember it well.
Yeah.
Gunnar, so that'll do it for today's episode. A nice quick fire one. Thank you very much for joining us on the i2i podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
Of course. Thanks for featuring me. I hope you and the guys are all doing well, and let's keep in touch. I'm trying to come out to York here soon.
Appreciate it, Gunnar. See you later.
All right. See you later, Jay.